Hey, what's up, Exit the Matrix family? Bob here. Hey guys, I hope you're having a great day. Thank you for joining me on this morning talk. Today, guys, I wanted to go into a couple things that have come up here recently. So, for those of you that didn't see the interview, and I can't remember her name exactly because I don't have it in front of me right here, but there was an interview done with this woman who basically was talking about how when she was 9 years old, her mother basically sold her into elite MK Ultra child. Let's just leave it at that. You know where I'm trying to go, right? I don't know what YouTube allows as far as this goes, so we're going to keep it very vague, but you guys know what it means. So anyways, she was talking about how she was being trained by top elite, by David Rockefeller, in fact, that she was being trained to like be this like high level infiltrator. Like basically she would live with people like Rockefeller in their mansions. She would learn everything about fashion, everything about rich people, what their tastes are, the way they act, their mannerisms, so that she could blend in with that society. And then what she would be is that she would be set up to be somebody that was highly sought after, for a wife to a powerful person. And I kind of wonder if it wasn't for planned arranged marriages, because we know that happens at the upper echelons. You even see that in Hollywood, arranged marriages. I know it sounds like something you'd only hear about in like India or something, but no, the elite do this. In fact, royals do this. But anyway, she was being trained to blend in with high society, with the elite, and to be, and she was, beautiful and refined, and she was going to be highly sought after, to be a wife to one of these powerful people. And the reason for this is so that now Rockefeller has a spy implanted with a powerful person in a position of power, more than likely political power. And so this is one of the ways that these elite oligarch families rule nations from behind the scenes, is that they set up, they train these I'm not going to say the word, kittens, starts with an S kittens, get what I'm saying? And they're MK Ultra programmed women, they're beautiful, and then these ones are being trained, though, to be infiltrators in with powerful people. Imagine it, you're a president of a European country, and you're introduced at these parties, these high-level parties, to this beautiful woman that's absolutely stunning. She is very well-spoken. She's refined. She's a prize, And look, women, I'm not trying to... Look, okay, we're just talking about this specific thing. I'm not trying to say women are just objects or prizes for men. But you got to understand, that's what she was being trained to be, okay? So before anybody gets their hackles up, just understand what I'm talking about here. So she's being trained, to be a spy, essentially, an infiltrator. So then imagine this powerful politician, this president, marries this woman. Now she's playing the part as a wife and this, strong ally, but at the same time she's feeding this information back to the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds. And so they essentially control that president through his wife, who is their asset. Their asset, not his, their asset. He thinks it's his wife, but she's really a spy. She's an asset for the elite. And she's going to push, she's going to be in his ear. She's going to be trying to talk him into the desires that they need. You know, the plans that they want pushed. So it makes you wonder, folks, how many of our world leaders are actually married to these MK Ultra plants, spies. I mean, hell, we've seen some of our politicians here in America, they fall for it from the Chinese. And these aren't even beautiful women. Feng or whatever, she's average looking Asian woman. But old Eric Swalwell, I think that's his name, that clown from California, he was banging Feng and she was spying for China, right? Well, I mean, this goes on a lot, even with our politicians. So it's not just the European ruling elite or the Rothschild ruling elite. We're not even going to name the national identity there. It's the Chinese doing the same thing. And I'm sure the Russians do the same thing. And hell, I'm sure America, the CIA probably runs the same programs also. Hell, a lot of American agencies probably do it to our own politicians because that's how deep and disgusting the deep state is in America. So this woman's testimony was very powerful because it was a glimpse into how the puppet masters control the strings on the puppets, the politicians and powerful people. Because it's not just politicians they do this with. It's the heads of corporations. It's, there's other people, probably the heads of religions and stuff. Maybe not the Catholics, but, other Protestant, other types of religions, that their top religious figures can have wives. Same thing, because they're powerful. Look, folks, I've said it many times. The 3 pillars of control on humanity is government, religion, and banking. Everything ties into that. Some people say, no, military. Well, military falls under government, okay? Schools, yeah, people say education. Well, education falls under government also. Don't matter if it's a university or not. Universities get major funding from government. They're not exclusive. So it was very interesting because, look, this is something most of us have known. But when you hear it actually from one of these survivors explaining the process in detail and naming a few of the main major players. And in fact, one of the Rothschilds came up in that conversation also. And it was interesting because they said Rockefeller had to defer to the Rothschild to be able to go through some plans with this woman. And that's because, the Rothschilds are higher up in the pecking order than the Rockefellers. So, some interesting stuff, folks. Now, this starts making you think about the Diddy thing, the Epstein thing. Why are the lists not coming out, folks? It's because those were honeypot operations. Both of them. I guarantee you that Diddy is some way tied in with intelligence. Maybe not an official agent, but he's working. I keep telling people research the CAA. I'm just going to leave it at that because it's a touchy thing. But just research that. And you'll find how our government uses propaganda against us, but who those agents are and how they recruit them. And so, yes, you hear that the CIA doesn't work within the United States, that it's supposed to be international, but that's bullshit because just research the CAA, okay? And I guarantee you that in some way Diddy was running this honeypot operation. Because that's how they get the dirt on powerful, famous people and, rich people. Like the heads of corporations, these top, movie and music influencers, the entertainment industry, the government officials, congressmen, judges, lawyers, bankers. See, folks, this whole world is a scam. It's always been a scam. Our leaders are either bought and paid, or they're controlled, or their wife or their husband. Maybe they probably do this with men too, for powerful women, or their spouse is a spy for the elite, and they're controlling them, feeding them information, whispering in their ear, giving them direction on decisions they should make, and such. So makes you wonder, folks. I mean, really, like, how deep is this thing? When you start thinking about cleaning up our nation, and you look at these European nations, and it just, my God, you got to get rid of everybody. I mean, there is probably hardly any real people in power in political positions that aren't blackmailed, controlled, or spied on at some level. This is how these demons from the shadows control things. And look, folks, the Rothschilds are not the highest level of the pecking order, okay? I've said this before, and I've said this again. The Anuna, the Anunnaki, the Elohim, the shining ones, the powerful ones, they never left, or at least not all of them left. There are still some of them in control, using humans as their game pieces to battle with each other in their games of the gods. I know it sounds far-fetched and crazy, but it's not, folks. They've always been here. They're separate from humanity. They are where humans cannot reach them or see them or touch them, except for their agents. They are aloof from humanity. Think of the stories about Mount Olympus, about the Zeus and the pantheon of, the Greek gods. Folks, the Greek gods are the Sumerian gods, okay? They're all one and the same. They're the Egyptian gods. They're the Hindu gods. They're all one and the same, folks. Each culture just conceptualized them differently, called them different names, but the same archetypes are there in every single one. And I've broken down a lot of this. You can go see past videos. They've always been here, folks. They never left. They rule humanity from the shadows. They probably have some hidden areas around the earth where they operate from. They probably, for all we know, they probably have an island that humans are not allowed to go to. Somewhere in the Pacific or something, where they have a kingdom that they rule from. Some think it's from under the ice in Antarctica. I don't know about that one. I think, they're going to set themselves up in a paradise type setting. Not some cold, frigid landscape. But they've always been apart from us. Like in the Greek gods, the humans were not allowed to reach their dwelling. It was separate from humanity. They ruled from above, from a separate place. And they use their agents like the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, to carry out their designs. And there's factions, folks, amongst the Anuna. I've already talked about how you can see these factions broken up just by looking at the coat of arms. Look at the coat of arms of the royals around the world. You'll notice the distinction. Almost half of them have a type of dragon, feathered serpent, or snake, and the other half have a type of bird of prey, a griffin, an eagle, I can't remember the other one. There's the the two-headed eagle, is it? Anyways, those are the two main factions, folks. That's the family of Enlil. The eagle represents the family of Enlil. Was the commander of Earth, the god of the air, hence the eagle. And his rival would be his brother Enki, and his family, the serpent family, the feathered serpent family. And you can see their coat of arms on pretty much every royal family on Earth. And you'll see one of these two standards. And then there's some other minor, less powerful Anuna that got their hands in the pot too. And you'll see their standards. One of them is the son of Enlil, one of his sons named Nanar Sin, who had a falling out with his father over the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. Those were his city-states in Mesopotamia. His symbol is the crescent moon. His followers are the followers of Islam. See, these battles, folks, between the Anuna have always been carried out by mankind. They use us as their fodder. And they control our politicians through their agents and such. They don't always have to give direct commands. They just use human agents and spies to do their dirty work. That way, they can stay aloof as much as possible and unknown as much as possible. Everybody always says, who do we owe all this money to, right? They say every nation pretty much on earth is in debt. Who are we in debt to? Some would say, well, to the Rothschild banks. Well, to a certain degree, but you're not going deep enough there, folks, or high enough, I guess you could say, up the pyramidal structure. Why do you think that all-seeing eye is separate from the rest of the pyramid on the dollar bill? A lot of people will say, well, that's the eye of providence, that's God. Then other people say, well, yeah, that's Satan's eye. Folks, think of this. The watchers, the watchers, separate from humanity. And it always shows it emblazoned with the sun shining, right? The shining ones, folks. It's always been in front of our faces. Look, it's always been there. And notice how it's separate from the rest of the power structure of the pyramid. Because humanity is not even allowed to contact these beings. They have totally separated themselves from us. Even from the power structure. Now that first level at the top of the pyramid that's connected is probably where the Rothschilds and such come in. See, folks, the way they rule humanity also is through their bloodlines. See, this is all explained in the cuneiform, and a little bit in the Book of Enoch, and even the Bible a little bit. And in the Hindu Vedic text, and in the Egyptian, it's all explained in all these, even the Greek, where the gods mixed their blood with humanity, and they had hybrid children called the Nephilim. These Nephilim were set as the kings over humanity. They were the connection point between the humans and these higher beings. They put their children in the middle. They put them as the rulers to carry on their bloodline on the earth, to rule the nations in their stead. Gilgamesh was one such one. It even says in the cuneiform, in the Epic of Gilgamesh, that he was 1/3 God and 2/3 human. Okay? He was a giant. Powerful. You've seen pictures of him, right? It's not modern depictions, and it's not symbolic. It was actual. He's holding lions in his arms like it's a kitty cat. There's other pictures of these beings holding goats, like they look like a little like little puppy. They're holding a goat, a full-size goat in their arms. I mean, these were big beings. They were part Anunnaki, part Watcher, part whatever. Okay, some of you like the word angels, right? Okay, there you go, angels. Though that's a made-up term that came later on. The original name was the Anuna. That was the oldest form. And then eventually they were called the Anunnaki under the Babylonians and such. And yes, Anunnaki is in the cuneiform. I'm so tired of hearing these idiots say, oh, Anunnaki is not even a real word. Zechariah Sitchin made that up. Yes, folks, it is in the cuneiform. Go read some tablets yourself. Don't listen to these idiot trolls. These people that are, I don't know if they're willing, agents or just, smart asses or what their deal is, or they're paid trolls, but get tired of them, really. And why would they want us not to understand this stuff? Duh, right? These beings don't want us to know they're still here, ruling from the shadows. So, of course, they're not going to tell us. Of course, they're going to want disinformation out there, right? But that's how they do it, folks, through honeypots. See, that's why they won't release the Epstein list and the Diddy list, because it exposes not just these powerful people and what they were doing, but it exposes their blackmail system. And then, all of a sudden, it moves away from, the talk about the celebrities and the politicians and the judges and everything on these lists, and it starts moving to the, wow, well, who's actually behind these honeypots, right? And that's what they don't want. They don't want everybody realizing how they rule this realm, because as you start going backwards, up, through figuring out who these people were that were on these videos and lists, but then you start going up to, okay, what is this honeypot? Who set it up? Who planned all this? And how vast is this? And how many of these are these running worldwide? I mean, imagine how easy you can control politicians and stuff when you got dirt like blackmail. You get them to, you have a brand new congressman, right? Or congresswoman. You invite them to some DC party, right? And you get them in there. You get them, you're having a good time. Hey, have a little bit of this, have a little bit of that. Maybe they'll willingly take something because maybe some celebrity offering it or some more powerful politician. Don't worry, what stays here, right? Nobody knows what happens in these parties. You're safe. You're safe. Don't worry about it. And maybe if you don't want to take whatever they're offering you, they slip it in your drink regardless, right? Kind of like what has been talked about with the Diddy stuff, And then, all of a sudden, the politicians getting woozy. They're really out of it. They're really high. And then they introduce some beautiful man or woman, right? Depending on what it is. Or maybe the same sex. Who knows? Whatever. They introduce them to this person. Well, that person is one of these agents that we were just talking about. This woman explained that she was trained to be. Right? And then they start wooing this person. They do. No, they say all the right things. They have all the right looks. They have all the right mannerisms. And this person gets smitten with them. Next thing they know, they're doing magic in other ways up in one of the hidden rooms. Well, it's all on camera, folks. It's all being recorded. Okay? Now, when a vote comes up in Congress, that new junior congressman or congresswoman, they actually want to do good, right? they're getting ready to vote against this despicable bill that probably takes more of our rights away, right? And they're against it, or funding wars or who knows, and they're against it. And right as they're getting ready to cast their vote, somebody pulls them out into the hallway and says, "Hey, all I got to say is we got you. You better do what we tell you to do." What do you mean? We got you. We got you all on camera. We know exactly what you did last night. Do you want your wife to find out, your family? And look, folks, I know they do even worse stuff than that, okay, than with adults, okay? I get that. I'm just saying, I'm trying to use an example. But this is really how politics work in America and Europe and probably Asia and every other country on earth, okay? It makes you wonder, man, how deep is the rat nest? But anyways, folks, work has been horrendous, and I got to get rolling here. But I'm going to go ahead and go. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think about these honeypots, these MK Ultra spies and such? It's very interesting stuff. I mean, wow. It's crazy, man. Hey, there's a reason why they say it's selling your soul for power and fame, right? Yeah. So... I know I kind of tied in a lot of things, and I know a lot of you are probably going to disagree with me on some of this, but I think a lot of it resonates because that's what we're starting to see uncovered. And this is what they don't want, but it's starting to become a tsunami now that all this stuff is just starting to fall into the open. And it's time because we're getting ready to go into the next Yuga cycle, the Golden Age. And for those of you biblically learn, that 1,000 years of peace in the Revelation. Because, see, folks, this earth is, this construct, the simulation is designed like a timepiece, a clock. And it goes through different cycles. And we're going into a new cycle now where everything is going to come into the light. Where the light now, the pendulum is swinging. It was in the dark, and we're coming out of the dark ages. Okay, and we're going to find enlightenment. And we're starting to see this already. Look at all these ancient manuscripts that have been uncovered. The cuneiform codes were broken in the 1800s. The Nag Hammadi was uncovered. The Dead Sea Scrolls, the Book of Enoch. Like, all this is starting to come out, folks. And look, religion's not the good guy. For those of you thinking, yeah, religion's starting to... No, religion was always part of this system, folks. It was never designed to enlighten you, okay? It was designed to keep you down and stupid and lazy and ignorant, okay? I'm sorry. It just is what it is. And the reason I say lazy is because most Christians will not study anything but the Bible because they've been conditioned. I even know Christians that won't even read the Book of Enoch. Well, that's not canonized doctrine. Folks, who the hell do you think canonized? The Catholic Church under Constantine. Really? Come on, man. Oh my God, folks. Jeez. I can't believe that always comes up. I won't read that because that's not canon. Yeah, that wasn't God, folks, that canonized books. That was man. And anyways, that's a whole nother story. I've gone into this a million times, but people are ignorant. What can you do, man? They want to believe the lie. They don't want to know the truth. That is the way it is. And it's unfortunate. But regardless of that, there's powers at play that are starting to break this stuff open. And look, folks, I want you also to understand something. Not all of the Anuna are bad, okay? Some of them are good. They work on behalf of humans. And some of them are what you call evil. They work for their own ends. Okay? There are some working for humanity behind the scenes. They know it's time for the charade to be up. They know it's time for us to be enlightened, to learn again where we came from, who we are, what we are. The whole point of this system. It's coming to that point, folks. So we go through this. We've gone through this cycle many times, folks. Look, Atlantis was in a golden age, and then they were going to go after their golden age ended. They went back into the dark times. The cycle ended. There was a cataclysm. The earth was reset. The simulation was reset. And humankind started over again from the bottom of the wheel. That's the way that it works, folks. We go through reincarnation. We pass and we can choose to come back here again. Civilizations world civilization I'm talking about, it goes through cycles of death and rebirth. Same thing. It's all as above, so below. So anyways, guys, hey, I love you guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you would like to have a one-on-one Zoom with me, I would love that. Let's connect. I just asked for your donation for my time. I've got some slots open. If any of you are interested, hit me up. We can try to line something up. And anyways, folks, I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. And I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later.